everyone, my name is Int, and welcome back. For today's video, I got you the follow-up of my league start for Divine Ire Elementalist Ignite. So, very quickly, let me go over the changes we've made. Starting with a passive tree. First, I opted to go with Shaper of Storms rather than Art of Destruction. Art of Destruction only functions on uniques, and the area of effect component doesn't really matter for us. And in this specific case, for this league, there's very powerful rare monsters, especially the ones empowered with the Wildwood mechanic. So Shaper of Storm works a lot better in that sense, and it allows us to have a much more consistent damage pattern when fighting them. Secondly, I went with a Primalist. I started testing out the Warlock, but I didn't really like it, so I swapped to the Primalist, which was our backup, and probably the end game version. You would use this anyway. So this is what I went with. Right now I'm just using Culling Strike here, and Fizz as extra of a random element here, and just a bit of armor and block. I haven't unlocked the final one, as I haven't found the King and the Mist yet, because I'm really just not running Wildwood in tier 14s plus, because it makes the mobs so ridiculously powerful. I really cannot run them right now. Secondly, we have dropped this cluster over here. It's 4 points. This allows us to, 1, grab this mastery here for the mana conservation, as well as a space for a jewel, and in this space you really want the mana conservation efficiency, because this allows us to reserve 1 extra aura, which is very nice. Other than that, the passive tree should be pretty much as I've made it in the beginning of the season. I've also taken these 2 nodes as my 91 and 92 because I was trying to get stun immunity, but without the flask from Katarina I don't think I can do it, and I've killed Katarina 2 or 3 times now and I haven't gotten the flask yet, so unfortunately couldn't really get it. I also added this mastery, Fizz converted to fire. We need this for 2 reasons. 1, this allows us to be Fizz immune when doing reflect maps, otherwise we're gonna kill ourselves, and guarantees that we get the Shaper of Flames second bit, which deals 25% more damage with ignites when the highest damage type on our hit component is fire. Let's go over the items and the jumps as it currently stands. Our weapon is a very simple weapon. It is a scepter. We can use either scepters or wands that give us flat in the implicit. For the wands, spell damage doesn't do anything for us, so I opted to go with this. It has damage over time multiplier, flat fire to spells, cast speed is nice as a bonus stat, and then I just crafted the fire damage. We still want a little bit of cast speed. Without any cast speed, the build is going to be very awkward to play because we need to stand still and channel for a very long time. So we want to have cast speed to a certain degree, but I'll leave that to like whatever you're comfortable with. There's not a set value. It's just, if you feel like you're being able to get cast off and play, then great, that's good. But if you feel like it's not really where you went or where you want it to be, it's not really there, then consider adding some cast speed either by rolling it on your items, on the rings, whatever, or by just dropping some stuff and taking this wheel here, which has quite a bit of cast speed as well. So, for items. Helmet. I now have an Elevor. I didn't have one for the longest time, but I just dropped it while working on a couple of different builds that I've now started. And I managed to drop one. This would be very nice. It jumps our evasion, our suppressed chance by about 20%, so it's very good. But unfortunately, as you can see, without the energy shield on our helmet right now, I cannot cast our Divine Blessing setup, so currently I'm not allowed to use it. I would need to swap a few things around. But yeah, here we just have 2 very big resistances, a bit of suppress, and life. So, very simple. I got a Dawnbreaker from my first Searing Exar kill. It's not a great Dawnbreaker, but it does the job. Gives us a lot of armor, gives us a lot of conversion, and Scorch, which is also nice for our damage. On the necklace is not amazing. We have a bit of dex, which we need. We have chaos resistance and increased armor and life, and that's about it. At the time of recording, the best enchant that I could get for my necklace was the Vanquisher, which is down here. And yeah, that's just what it was. I put it in POE, gave me that, so it was, however, before POE updated. So I would recommend have a look at that and check what is the best for your build as it currently stands. Kikazaru. I neglected this ring when I was making the build. I didn't think it would be a big deal, but with no regen, things become very deadly very quickly. So as soon as I managed to get one, this is a super cheap, super common and unique. As soon as I got one, this is giving us nearly 300 regen per second. So it's a phenomenal ring for us to get. And also as the added benefit of reducing the effect of curses, which is very good. Second ring, just resistances and a big chunk of life, and that's it. On the chest piece, we have resistances, life, and just defenses. Optimally, I would like a higher energy shield roll here. This will allow me to use the Elevore instead of the current mask that I'm wearing. But it is as it is. For our gloves, we finally got the fire exposure after nearly 100 acres. I was very unlucky with that, unfortunately, but we did get it in the end. It's not a good pair of gloves, mind you. All I need from here is the cold resistance, but because I got the exposure now, and it's not a very high item level base, I'm kind of stuck with these. I can craft it around a little bit and potentially get something better. It shouldn't be too difficult with a chaos resistance essence or something like that. So I might mess around with that, but we're kind of stuck with this as of right now because we really need the fire exposure, because this allows us to then run our Flame Surge, and Flame Surge is quite a bit of our single target damage. As the other implicit, we also got fire damage for time multiplier, which is quite nice. For the belt, we have life, we have resistance, and we have a little bit of stats that we needed. For our boots, we have suppress, we have regen, movement speed, and life. That's it. Really not that impressive pair of boots, but it did come with quite a bit of suppress. So as you can see, the items could all use with quite a bit of upgrades. For the links, we have pretty much the same thing. The only thing that has changed at all is here, the Divine Blessing. I'm using the Inspiration. Initially I didn't need it, but as you've seen now, I'm quite starved for energy shields for the Divine Blessing setup, so I need it as of right now. Optimally, I wouldn't. Second, we now have our Divine Eye of Disintegration, very good. I have swapped Fizz to Lightning for added fire damage, as Fizz to Lightning would make so our second portion of Shaper of Flames not work, and that cuts our damage by quite a lot. Other than that, all the links are the same, and everything is as of the first POE that I've provided in my previous video. So yeah, just for a quick showcase, this is just a random tier 16. The only mod that we really don't want to roll for the most part is no regen, as it turns off. You can run if you need to, it's just kind of sketch because we have no regen to our life. And less recovery is pretty horrible because it makes our shield recharge super slow, so you basically cannot use Malevolence, right? So it's not great. So while doing a map, for the most part, you pop your Malevolence and you just charge around, prepare, for about 90% of the things you're gonna find, you don't actually need to, I don't mean to come in, you don't actually need to charge to 10 or even 5 for the most part. Only when you find any rares do you actually care about doing that. Any boss? No. So, you can see, you charge as much as you can, but make sure to not overdo it, and keep in mind you have quite a bit of damage, but it's not instant, okay? You need to, if you never played, you need to learn how to play with Ignite. A lot of your damage is not front-loaded. Your hit doesn't do really anything for the most part. It's all about the Ignite. But yeah, you charge around, you have quite a bit of block, so you can still face tank quite a few hits. Degens will be the end of you, but I feel like that's every build these days, unfortunately. And your weakest damage type is by far physical. Physical is the worst, so be careful with that, but we're trying our best to convert as much as you can to elemental. I have now found a lightning coil, which you could potentially use, but you then converting to lightning, you'd need to find a way to increase your lightning if you can, to make that a lot more comfortable. And I think that's just better off with a Cloak of Flames probably, and converting to fire instead for Elementalist. Because that also then increases the duration of your Ignite, makes the playstyle a lot more comfortable, as you don't need to cast nearly as much on a boss and stuff like that. So if you're gonna convert and you're in trade and you have the possibility to like cherry pick how you're doing it, I would say, let me just, yeah, that should be manageable. I would say probably aim to do it with a Cloak of Flames instead. We have Vuln, and these guys bleed quite a bit, so we gotta be a bit careful here, as we're out of flask charges. They all have, oh, degen, we don't want that. Why is he not getting ignited? Did I fuck this up? Oh no, he is, okay. Reduce damage just in general, Please die, sir. Thank you. Oh, quite a big bleed there. Okay, so let's go and do the rest of the map. I'll come for them at the end eventually. Let's just go and kill the boss so you can see that. But yeah, for the most part, maps you just run around, charge things, charge up your laser, and it does quite a generous amount of damage. As you can see, the boss is so much easier to kill than the expedition, unfortunately, because that's just how rares work in the game currently. So yeah, very simple, very straightforward. It's a very easy build to just put together. Oh, I'm using steel skin just instead of molten shell, because I don't have a massive armor pool, and the steel skin also removes bleeding, which is quite nice for when we do not have our flask. And that's about it, really. Yeah, that's all. I hope you enjoy. I if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Send us a like and a sub if you can, and I'll be providing you with future builds and future updates, hopefully. So, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.